Well, hey folks, and welcome back. Listen, we've got people that are just starting out in disc golf, and people have been playing for a long time, like myself, for over 30 years. And we'll come out to a course like this, especially the older players. It's a 9-hole, pretty much a straightforward open layout here. And we'll go, oh, this place is boring. Well, it's only boring if you make it boring. And today we're going to talk about how we can liven it up and work on our game just by bringing out one disc. And we're going to talk about it right after the intro. Okay guys, I'm out at Coker Park. This is a brand new course that opened up a few weeks ago. And it's a simple 9-hole course. And I think these 9-hole courses are so good at introducing the community to disc golf. But then you hear people go, oh, it's kind of, it's pretty simplistic or whatever. Well, that's how they should be, because you want an introductory course to get people involved and enjoying the game instead of getting clobbered. Like, introducing them to Inverness can be pretty... People are like, holy cow, is this what disc golf is all about? No, it's coming out here to something like this. But for you more mature players or higher level players, however you want to fill it in, sometimes we can poo-poo courses like this. But I think these are great practice courses no matter what your level is. And the way that you can practice is, okay, if it's a shorter, wide open course like this, bring out shorter, simpler discs. And that's one of the reasons why I love the Innova Birdie and now the Infinite Glyph. It's basically the same thing. It is a no-nonsense disc. It's just kind of, it goes where you throw it. And for beginners, it really helps teach how to start throwing the disc and shaping the disc a little bit, because you've got to do the work instead of the disc doing the work. I just had a brand new player come out yesterday, and I immediately handed him an Innova Birdie. And for one thing, it feels more like a regular Frisbee, but it's not going to do anything beyond what you do to the disc. And that's why I love these things, because now I'm out here at this 9-hole course. It's straight open, pretty straightforward. So what I'm going to work on is my timing, my control, my aim, my accuracy, and because a lot of the holes might be farther than I can throw my drive with the birdie, it's going to work on my approach shots and my putting. So it's going to work on everything. And the good news is, this disc is not going to lie to me. If I throw it well, it'll fly well. If I throw it poorly, it'll show me that as well. And so what it's going to do is it's going to reinforce this consistency. Me trying to learn how to throw the disc well and throw it and repeatedly throw it well. Got distracted by a truck. Sorry about that. You know what happens. Woo, shiny thing. What was I saying? Oh yeah. So what this means is I've got to I'm not going to be trying to shoot under par out here, because a lot of these holes are going to be maybe beyond what I can reach in one. So I just want to give myself a reasonable goal of shooting par. No matter what your skill level is, come out and look and go, okay, can I reach him, can I not? If I can't reach him, then hopefully I can reach him in 2. So it's really going to stretch me to shoot par. Does that make sense? If you can reach them, you want to be aiming for a birdie. You're wanting to push yourself. Our practice always wants to be adding that bit of challenge to push ourselves to get a little bit better. But you don't want to clobber yourself and set goals that you can't reach, that are unattainable, that you just get frustrated and rage quit. But what you want to do is out here, okay, I'm going to see how well I can play with just this disc, and I'm going to play smart. I want to play in my game instead of trying to push it and just for the sake of the score. I want to work on my consistency and my touch, and I think this is a great thing to do. And the 9-hole, I don't get too overwhelmed by 18 holes, I got to do all this, but also I can now, if I play well the first 9, I can do it again, change it up, go to the other baskets, or see if I can repeat the same score if I'm consistent or if I fluctuate. Because like, let's say the first round I shoot a 5 under and the second round I shoot a 5 over. Well, that's going to tell me that I've got to work on my consistency. One of the reasons why Gannon Buhr is so dangerous in tournaments, especially the longer tournaments, is because he's so consistent over each round, where you'll get these other players that'll pop off, have the hot round, the best score, but then the next time they kind of crash and burn. So what we want to be focusing on is learning wherever we are, we want to learn on being consistent and slowly building up from that. Because oftentimes the best character builder, the best base we want to build is a slow, consistent growth, not just a woo, pop off and then crash and burn. Hope that makes sense. So anyway, I'm just out here, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to play to the shorter basket, the A basket, I believe, for these, and we're just going to go around, and I'm just going to work on having fun while I'm trying to play consistent. Remember, we're in a park throwing a frisbee or a disc. There should be some challenge, but hopefully you have a smile on your face and you're just thankful that you're out in a park getting the chance to throw frisbees. So let's go throw a little bit. All right, so now I'm just going to throw down the basket. It's about 206. It's about the length of my my toss. And so this will be a nice, easy start out, just right to the basket. Yep, that's how we want to start things out. So I was trying to jump off of the first spot because it's right by the road. People were coming. So we'll talk a little bit more as we move along about why this is, I think, a great idea. If you've got a little 9-hole course in your area that's kind of wide open, that's the perfect practice area, no matter what skill level you're at. The good news is I'm right by the basket. So really didn't have to practice that much as far as my approach shot on this first one, but I have a feeling we're going to have some other ones that we're going to have to work a little harder on. Okay, so we got 2 different pin placements. I'm going to be playing from the shorter tee pad just because I'm playing with the birdie. Well, you know what? We can play from the longs because that's going to force me to have more approach shots. And that's what I want to work on. I want to work on being able to have touch, especially with the birdie. So I'm just going to keep it back here, play a little bit longer, knowing I can't reach it. Because the basket's going to be at 328. I max out maybe 250 on this when my back's warmed up. So we're going for the one by the telephone pole. And so now we should have a good chance to make a little approach from there. So it's 10:41, and the weather's been a little cooler, but it's still got a little, you can feel it. I'm gonna be not loving the black shirt right now. I thought it was cool enough that the black shirt would be okay. Besides, I wanted to, show off. Hey, I got some gear. Hey, and you can too. Yeah, it's already warm. It's warm. So this is what I'm talking about. By simply disking down to a 1-speed, basically it's a barge, I am now forcing myself to have to work on my approach shots because I just can't get to the basket. You're limiting yourself so that you're expanding your challenges. Does that make sense? We want to willingly put ourselves in harder positions in practice so that they will be easier when we do the real thing. All right, so now I'm just gonna work on, I'm gonna give it a slight run, but I'm thinking I'm trying to shoot par out here. I'm just trying to play consistent and work on my consistent game and being smart. So I'm just gonna run this over and let it drop near the basket. What I wanna do at a practice like this is I wanna eliminate dumb shots and mistakes that'll cost me strokes. I'm willing to give up some birdies and stuff like that, because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to work on raising my floor, the floor of my game, versus always trying to push the ceiling, how high I can score. What I want to do is, and that's where the better players, they're raising their floor so that they're making less and less mistakes, so their score isn't getting punished by the dumb mistakes. If you watch the tour players, you can see, let's face it, all of them are so gifted and any one of them could win at one time or another. But what happens is they make a boneheaded throw or they just lose focus and they lose strokes because of something crazy. And so what we're trying to do, we're trying to practice consistency so that our floor rises. So even when we play an okay round, our score's pretty good. And then we have a great base to play really good rounds. So I'm not focusing on the really good round today. I'm trying to work on not making dumb plays and reinforcing being smart and making good, clean throws. All right, so we're gonna do the par 4, which is 434 feet. So I'm gonna have to pump it twice and the jam to get it down there. So let's have some fun. There's a basket out here, but I know the other one. I played this course once, and the day before I hurt my back. My back was already starting to hurt, but it's tucked back over there. So I'm just gonna throw it out in the field and then we'll cut back to the right. Look at the speed of that disc. I mean, did you see the power? You can hear it go. That's part of why I love it. I mean, it's only gonna go where you throw it. It's, you know, you throw a good shot, it'll reward you. Now, it's not gonna go super far, but it's gonna go where you were aiming. If you throw a bad shot, it's gonna let you know that too. And I think there's something wonderful about just bringing, especially, I love the birdie. You could love the polecat, sonic, you know, choose your disc of choice, Berg, but bringing it out and playing with it over and over again, just a one disc round, because it's gonna force you to slow down, one speed or whatever, but also start thinking about how to process the hole and the course to play it smartly instead of full power, go for it all. Because like even here, now that I've done this one time, I need to be farther out to the left because I'm pinching myself off a little bit to come into the woods over here. I didn't think about that because last time I just threw up way up there and then cut over this way. But now I'm seeing the hole from, okay, if I got a bad shot, this is where I'm gonna be and this is where I don't wanna be. So you're learning the course, you're learning about yourself, you're teaching yourself while hopefully having some fun. I'm just out here throwing a Frisbee. So you see what's happened here is I'm tucked against this wall. Now, here's the other side of it. I can't do a lot of fanciness with this. Like I can't, you know, really cut it over. I can throw a forehand and try to cut it in there, but it's gonna wanna flip, take that torque and flip it up a little bit. I'm probably better just trying to throw to the tree line and maybe get in a gap, but come this way because that's where I'm gonna have a little bit more push and a little bit more power to come through. But my expectations are simply to get to the tree line. And now that will give me options. Are you following why I'm doing this? First of all, I just love throwing birdies slash glyphs because I love the disc, but it's slowing me down and it's making me think. And thinking and processing and learning while you're out on the course is usually a good thing. And so it's teaching me things about myself and about the game because I'm not just in the go, go, go mindset. And we could really use that these days, is to take a breath, take a little more time and think. Breathe, have fun, and love each other a little bit more. Let's do that some more too. Whew. Okay, so now, here's what I've left myself. I should have tried to land over here. If I landed over here, I've been much better. I didn't think about the wall of trees. This is where you have to learn the course, you know. I will now know the layout of these trees pretty intimately after this, whereas from back there, I just threw it, made it through the gap. I never even thought about how these trees set up, but now I have. Welcome to learning, woo! Okay, the good news is, I know this thing called a flick putt, and I've got a big enough gap. You know, I've done my hula hoop training. I should be able to tickle the chains. And remember, here's the thing, we're trying to go for par. So my goal really wasn't, I knew I was close enough and I don't have to worry that much about my run by, that I could go for the basket, but my goal is par. I'm trying to be smart and go, how can I play? If I can get par with just a birdie on all these holes, then I should be able to score much better when I have my full bag, ideally. But so I'm not trying to just clobber the course. I'm trying to tame the course and myself as well. Now after this round, my plan is to film another one where I do the one disc running round because I want to see how fast I can do it along with how controlled I can do it. But we're definitely changing shirts for that because I will spontaneously combust. All right, I believe this is another par 4. Yes, it is. That we're going to go back into the thing. I could play for one, but I want to push myself so that I have to make multiple shots. So I'm throwing as far as I can. which means I have to double up and throw multiple discs, multiple throws instead of just one at the basket, drop it in if I get close. I'm gonna have to throw a good one and then probably a good one and maybe a good one to get there. All right, we're going through the gap. So my focus is to try to get and land it in the gap. I'm pushing a little left, ooh, but I got a good rollout at the end. To be honest, I didn't know if I was gonna make it to the gap. I thought I was gonna land just a little bit in front of it. That's good to know. I can reach the telephone pole, so I needed to aim a little bit more right. But I'm not mad at that. I got a good rollout to the middle. The other side of things, because you know, I am devious. I try to encourage everybody to love each other and do all that, but there's another devious side to me. Imagine your local course, you can rip it up with just a birdie. And then you just come out here and people are playing, and all of a sudden you jump on a card with them with just a birdie, single disc. You know, people look at you like, oh, he's just got one disc or whatever. And you just start putting it down the middle, scoring well, and they're looking at their bag of 30 discs and going, what the heck? And so yeah, there's something fun and nice to just being able to score well, play well with just a simple single disc. Okay, so now basket's back here. The glyph does not like to do a lot of big movements. It's more this or this than this. I don't have the, if I had an open ceiling, let me get a little lower there. Hey there. If I had an open ceiling, I could throw it up higher and then let it crash, but I have a low ceiling, so I don't have that. But this is a high risk shot through this gap here, but I think I'm okay because I'm close enough. I can just throw a flick or a backhand through that gap because once again, I've been practicing with a hula hoop. Hula hoop is much smaller than that gap, so let's see how we do. Yep. Update on the new shirt. It's black and it's holding the sweat nicely. In case you're wondering, yeah, there's some good sweat going on there. Makes me look sexy. Oh, stop it. Stop it. All right, so now we've got to go around the corner here. We've got a Mando headwind. So this is where I have to start thinking smart. Yeah, it's about time. Woo! 55 years, maybe I finally start thinking smart. Because I don't have a lot of options with this disc as far as it's not gonna do a lot of fighting one way or the other. I've got to decide, do I want to throw it straight and just take as straight a shot as I can, or do I want to try to turn a little bit into the wind and risk blowing either too far into the bushes over here or not turn it enough and miss the Mando? I think this is a difficult shot for this. The other smart play I could do is throw it short of the Mando and then have a simple layup to the basket. Remember, we're not trying to score birdies, we're trying to score pars because I'm wanting to play smart and think about the hole. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna I think I'm just gonna try to throw it right at the pole, just slightly right of it, but maybe not even get the full distance. Part of me wants to just rip it to the basket because I think I could get there, but remember, the goal is to be playing smart, but also there's gonna be times I may hit that pole playing and be in that area, or if I miss a Mando, the drop zone's there. So I kinda wanna throw near that to get used to that approach from there, because remember, we're building on our game. And I know at some point, probably many times, I might have to throw from that area. So even though I might be able to get around and even park the basket, that doesn't really help me because in normal play, I'm probably not gonna use this, but I know in the future, I'm gonna need to have that throw dialed in. So let's go work on that throw by starting out by throwing it to that area. Yep. And to be honest, my goal was to try to throw as close to the drop zone as possible. So what I'm gonna do with a little grace on this is I'm gonna move it up 6 feet and throw from the drop zone because I need to learn how to gauge that shot and what I need to do with that shot. Think of these rounds as investing in the future, not clobbering today. Well, the good news is if I was playing to the short basket, I was going for the long basket. I forgot that had a little guy right there. I could have come around the corner and parked that, but I wanted to know how to play to this guy over here. And so here's my drive, and here's the drop zone. Yep, missed it by 4 feet. Okay, folks, here's a great little tip for you when you're coming up on a new hole that you might not know how to play, or even if you've played it before and you're thinking about what kind of shot to throw. I'm looking at this, I'm at the drop zone here, and the basket is right there, and the first thing I notice is there's a tree in front of it. And the question is, how bad would it be if I hit the tree? Well, it's only about 8 feet from the basket, so that's not terrible. So at least if I hit the tree, I should be able to be in makeable putt range. But then the other things I need to look at and observe, maybe even walk up there. I know there's a creek behind it because I played this one time before, but I don't want to go too far. But then I look at what things could help me here. And you see, it might not show up on camera well, but there's some grass and there's some leaves and twigs and stuff over to the left and over to the right that can act as good disc catchers. So I know that as long as I'm a little bit low coming in, it's almost like a little wall of green over here that would stop me right by the basket. So I may be able to take that into account and use that as an advantage when I throw this shot. I just want to step up, and I think so my miss is going to be to the left into that little greenery stuff over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to step up to the drop zone, and I'm going to throw it and almost hit the basket. But my aim to miss was going to be to the left over here, because I knew if I missed it, I was probably going to hit the little greenery over here and be in good shape for a drop-in par or bogey, depending on whether I had to use the drop zone or not. So does that make sense? Always assess what areas and terrain around the basket are there to both hurt you, but also to help you. All right, so I had to do a little short in the middle of all that. But did that make sense? Take and use the, oh, and there's actually more bermage. Is that a word? There's a little dirt berm back there. There's stuff around this basket to catch your disc, to keep you from going, hopefully, too far beyond. Now, the downside is, if you sneak through all that stuff, then you've got to make it back through all that greenery, which would stink. But assess your surroundings so that you can use them to your advantage and hopefully avoid the bad stuff. So we're looking at 211, so perfect distance. Ooh, almost got the pole. I tell you what, I love the birdie and the glyph. Here's why I love them. They're pure Frisbee discs. You know, I come from Ultimate. I started playing disc golf in Ultimate about the same time. But it's just a simple, slow Frisbee that's just going to go and settle where you throw it. And it really is, I think, a great teacher to teach you about accuracy and touch. So yeah, I know there's still plenty of Innova birdies out there. The thing is, the DX plastic beats up pretty quick, and that's why I like the infinite glyphs these days and a little bit more premium plastic, but they still beat up pretty good. But you can get those. The birdies are out of stock, but you can still get them everywhere because they made a million of them. They used to be the starter packs and everything. There's a reason why, because they are such a great beginner disc. So yeah, I love them. I think I need to do a birdie berg battle because I love them both for different reasons. And if they weren't so fat, I'd keep both of them in the bag. But here's the thing. You put, you know, I always have one berg in there, but then I may throw in the range, which I love. If I put the berg, range, and birdie in my bag, I basically don't have room for the rest of the stuff because they are some chunky monkeys. So many of us playing the game are fixated on speed and distance. And there's something to it, and there's something wonderful about it. And there's oftentimes where you need that, oftentimes. But you always need consistency and control. That's why I like to encourage people, especially as you're getting older, get really good at throwing slower discs that you can control and manipulate through the woods and stuff like that. And you can hang with the farther throwers because you're going to be putting it right down the middle and right by the basket. Alrighty, this is another one that's reachable, but I've got to really maneuver the disc because the basket's through here and the gap's back there. I need Robbie C's forehand for this. I'm old school. Listen, I've always had to just shape it backhand for the most part because I started back when nobody threw forehand, so I'm just used to just kind of trying to steer it. Yep. Might have got a little lucky, but we won't talk about that. No. I meant to go through that gap that was this big. Did you ever do that? You throw a shot that you kind of missed, but it turns out great and everybody on the card's like, whoa, great shot. Do you fess up or do you go, yeah, you know, I am that guy. Sometimes it's hard. You got to battle. How humble are you going to be? And also it depends on your card mates because sometimes you just want to go, yeah. All right. Here's the other thing, and you know, I know Robbie's talked about this too. Playing for par and not trying to do too much. A lot of times you end up getting birdies and stuff like that because you're not straining, stressing, you're not tight. You're like, I don't have to do this. I'm doing this because I choose to do it. And there's a big lesson in that. As Frankie says, relax. I wonder what the percentage of people actually even know what I'm talking about with that one. That'll separate you out into age groups for sure. All right, so this guy tucked right back there. So I could just throw it straight, or I could try to throw it up a little bit high and let it float back and crash. But the problem with that is throwing this up high with this wind coming this way, it'll probably just want to carry over to the right and not come back this way. Because let's face it, these don't have a lot of stability to them. So I think what I'm going to do is get as close to this corner as possible and just try to throw a straight shot, because if I throw a perfectly straight shot, I'm going to be, you know, right in line, hopefully 8 to 10 feet from the basket. But also remember, I'm going for par, so I don't want to try to do something too crazy. So just throw it right down the gap. That's also where playing the course or walking the course, knowing it opens up so much more on this side. From back there, it looked pretty skinny. You know, you had to make this thing and make this quick turn. As long as I made the corner and kept going straight, I knew that I was going to hit this wall of junk over here. I knew that I had this as a backstop. Now, you don't want to go in it because last time I was tucked back in there, but I knew that to the right was not going to be death if I pulled it a little bit more right. Whereas if I went left early, back over there, there's no chance of getting around here. Whereas if I go into here, I've got a decent look at the basket. We're trying to play smarter, not harder. Oh, I almost threw that out of the basket, just not paying attention. But y'all never do that. Y'all always stay focused. Always pay attention. And I always putt while holding on to a monopod. That's the secret to my success. Okay, so hole number 9. This is the long 623 feet, par 4. So I need to throw, what I say, I can push it out to 250 if I get hold of it. But really I'm talking about 210. I need to throw 3 good shots to get to the basket. It's par 4. So there's a premium on throwing good shots because I can't waste one here. Let's face it, if I have a longer disc, I can throw it and flail out here a little bit and still make up for it with another long, fast driver or fairway driver to make up the distance. Here, I've got to throw it well 3 times. And because it's a low ceiling, I can't even take advantage of the extra float by throwing it up higher. These slower discs tend to like a higher release, higher float, so that they have time to just kind of cruise, and finally settle down. Whereas when you've got a low ceiling, you've got to throw it lower, and they're going to get to the ground faster because they like to be thrown a little higher. Yep, I threw that one about 200 feet, maybe. So I gotta add 10 to at least one of these other ones. Got a little headwind, yeah. I just play this like my grandfather used to play golf with my dad and them. He just kicked their butts by right down the middle, right down the middle. It's not sexy, but it's successful. Woo-hoo. I need to check the, I think the walkway, oh, it can't be out of bounds because you got to cross it. I was starting to work, okay, yeah, it's just got a Mando. I didn't think I was going to be able to get to the walkway, but I almost did. And so I got a little worried. I could try to go out here, but with this ceiling, the headwind, and those trees, if I miss, I'm hitting that sucker and I'm farther away. Whereas if I try to burn it through here, even if I get a little low, hopefully it would hit the path and scoot forward. So I think my miss is going to be better to go straight at it than try to do something over here, because I only gain a few feet of air, but I have more chance of screwing up early. Whereas if I miss, to be honest, I may just change this all together. I think I'm going to do a turnover and bring it in that way so I avoid as much as I can till the end. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, folks, for cluing me in on that one. He says before he throws it. Now, if it sucks after I throw it, I'm blaming you. Well, oh, don't roll. Wind grabbed a little bit and it caught the tree. I thought it was going to have a good run at the basket, but it did catch the tree right by the basket, dropped and pushed it back to the left. So that was my third throw. So this is my, I got to make a good shot to save par. Because yeah, I'd much rather be putting from the tree than from here. Wind is coming this way, and this is one of the reasons why I switched from the birdie to the berg, because when I release this, I can even feel it wanting to push this down in my hand right here, because it's acting like a sail. The more you get it from horizontal to vertical, the more the wind affects it, and so I can feel it wanting to push this disc down a little bit. Oh, did you see it drop? I didn't trust it enough. I knew the wind was going to settle on it, but I should have thrown it up above the basket, and I just threw it kind of regular, and it just dropped it right into the cage. I knew it, but I'd been throwing my bergs, and I forgot how much it drops. That's on me. That's on me. All right, well, there you go. I hope you got some stuff out of that, because it really is a matter of being creative, but also sometimes limiting yourself, giving yourself boundaries to help you grow. And just taking a slow one disc and going out to a course, especially something like this, a 9-hole, it's not too onerous, it's not too hard that you feel like death once you got through. But what it does is it takes a course that I would normally go, it's, you know, I can throw to the basket. It doesn't challenge me that much. And suddenly this course has a lot of challenge. And let's face it, when we get challenged, our eyes open up, we start to focus more, we start to learn more, and we start to enjoy more. And so I love these guys, because when I'm sitting around sometimes, let's face it, I've thrown a million rounds, a million discs, and I go, what do I want to do today? Oh, I could work on this. And then I go, I just want to go throw. And not have to think that much about what disc to throw. I just want to go have fun, throw a Frisbee. And these guys are just so enjoyable to get out here and just work on my game, work on my touch, work on my timing, and just have some fun. So there you go, guys. I hope that helps. Hey, make sure to check out the products down below. Pick out a shirt, mug, whatever, and let me know if there's something you'd like to see that I don't have that I could add. I'd be happy to do that. Still trying to figure all this stuff out. But more importantly, we're trying to figure out how to be both better players and better people. And listen, the world's going crazy. We need to love each other. We need to go invite somebody we haven't seen in a little while, coworker or something, say, hey, let's go throw some Frisbees in the park and let's go have a good time together, because that's what we need for healing and for growth. So there you go, guys. I really do appreciate you. I love that you will spend some time with me and for the most part leave great comments and interact. I'm excited to see some of you guys in the beginning of next year at the Disc Golf Expo, and more importantly, I hope to see you out on the course.